There is a sleeping giant in the world of Grand Prix motorcycle racing, one that has already laid all the groundwork to break into MotoGP and immediately fill its seats with some of the best young talent in the world right now. The infrastructure behind this effort goes deeper than a lot of people might understand, and while some people are writing them off as a joke, there are some very compelling reasons to take them seriously. Of course, I'm talking about CFMoto, the Chinese manufacturer that was really the first one to earn mainstream legitimacy in the Western world. For a long time, Chinese motorcycles have been seen as cheap, untrustworthy products, and not necessarily for bad reasons. However, things have changed recently. If you've been living anywhere other than under a rock for the past few years, you've definitely seen the impacts of CFMoto in Grand Prix racing. Their most notable contribution, of course, being the World Championship winning partnership with the Aspar team. The Aspar team, run by four-time world champion Jorge Martinez Aspar, is nothing new. They've been involved in Grand Prix racing for decades at this point, and prior to CFMoto joining, were already a long-standing member of the paddock. They had a lot of success in the 2000s, fielding title contenders in the lightweight and intermediate classes, but generally fell into a slump in the 2010s. The 2020s have been a major resurgence for the team, and in 2024 they secured the financial backing of the Chinese motorcycling giant CFMoto. At the time, the CFMoto Aspar team was fielding entries in Moto2 and Moto3. In Moto3, while they were on KTM machinery, at the time the bike was allowed to run as a CFMoto machine. And in 2024, Colombian talent David Alonso broke almost every Moto3 record in the book, winning 14 races and making every Grand Prix fan count the days until he reached MotoGP. Meanwhile, they were also in the business of setting up for the future. Alonso was of course promoted to their Moto2 squad alongside his rival and the closest thing to a fellow contender in 2024, Daniel Gatto. Meanwhile, for 2025, Spanish wunderkind and Marc Marquez protege Max Quiles was brought into the Moto3 squad, along with the experienced Dennis Foggia. Quiles then went on to have one of the most successful Moto3 rookie seasons ever, and the world was on superstar watch for yet another CFMoto Aspar rider. And this happened right from day one. Despite missing the first 2 rounds of the season due to not meeting the minimum age limit, Quiles would then qualify on the front row and lead his very first lap of Grand Prix racing. Quiles has remained with the team and is on an absolute tear this year, with a monumental lead halfway through the season. This year he has been joined by Argentine rider Marco Morelli, who has already proven himself to be able to contend for wins. So in the span of just a few years, the CFMoto Aspar team has acquired 4 of the best young talents on the planet, and has the money to provide top-notch support in the garage. Most people can see that this sets them up great for the future. Believe it or not, that is just the tip of the iceberg. They have done so much more. CFMoto and the Aspar team are building a talent ladder, and a very good one. But most people don't seem to realize just how deep it goes and how successful they have really been at monopolizing the best young talent at every single level. In Moto3 Junior, formerly known as Junior GP, they are fielding Giulio Pugliese, who is already a race winner this year and a genuine title contender, Carlos Cano, the reigning European Moto4 champion and a Red Bull Rookies Cup race winner this year, as well as Jaroslav Karpushin. One step down in the same paddock, they are also in European Moto4, with Alvaro Lucas, former Mini-GP Super Final winner and currently dominating the series. He rides alongside the 2024 Spanish Superbike Moto4 champion Enzo Zaragoza. But wait, there's more. The Aspar team also competes in the Spanish Superbike paddock, which includes a talent or Moto4 class and a pre-talent class, in which Aspar is also fielding serious contenders this year, including Chinese rider and 2025 Moto Mini 190cc World Series champion Shengbo Sun. This is, to say the least, an incredible talent ladder. They have basically the most promising prospects in the world at every single level. If you asked me who I thought the most promising up-and-coming talents were through the talent ladder, there would be like 5 CFMoto Aspar riders on the list. They have former world champions and riders considered to be top talents at every single level, from Moto2 all the way down to national pre-Talent Cup series. For a long time, KTM and the IO team have sort of been the dominant talent production force in the Grand Prix world. However, by partnering with the Aspar team and providing funding that only a giant motorcycle manufacturer can provide, CFMoto have created a genuine rival that seems to already be outpacing them. Oh, and if they ever run out of talent, they are actively training more. CFMoto also runs the CFMoto Talent Project, working closely with the Aspar team in China to scout young Chinese talent for the future in their own academy. Now, if you've been paying any attention, you may notice that there is something missing from this project. CFMoto have built an incredible talent ladder, meant to shuffle the best talent in the world right up to MotoGP. only to send them to ride for someone else. As of right now, there is no CFMoto team in MotoGP. However, more and more moves are being made to indicate that this will not be the case for very much longer. There is plenty of evidence to support that CFMoto is making an entrance to MotoGP sooner than later. CFMoto representatives reportedly met with KTM executives about purchasing their MotoGP project while KTM was in financial strife. It seems that the KTM project will continue, but the fact that this was an offer that was made at all is very telling. And it looks like CFMoto will have to make their bike from scratch. Seemingly, this isn't that much of an issue. CFMoto's acquisition of Kalex, a chassis manufacturer which has been the most dominant constructor in Moto2 for quite some time, would seem to indicate that they have no problem building a bike from scratch. Kalex is a factory with tons of Grand Prix experience, and given that the majority of the Moto2 field is currently on Kalex chassis, they have no shortage of data, which, although it is admittedly Moto2 data, is still going to be very useful. Additionally, there were heavy rumors earlier this year that CFMoto was attempting to break into MotoGP as soon as 2027. It was during a time when negotiations were ongoing between KTM and Tech3 and maybe Honda over the renewal of their agreement and who Tech3 would end up signing with. Jorge Martinez Aspar himself would end up having some words which would clear things up a bit, saying, quote, "The idea is to get to the MotoGP, but also noting that the year 2027 is too close." With that being said, CFMoto have positioned themselves to make the move whenever they feel ready. They seem to have deep enough pockets to rival current MotoGP manufacturers. They have planted roots so deep and signed the best of the best young riders in arguably the best era for up-and-coming talent that we have ever seen. And they've established their own riding academy to prepare homegrown talent in China. Not to mention working with one of the most long-standing and knowledgeable teams in the Grand Prix world, and having purchased one of the most experienced chassis constructors in the business. All of the dominoes are in place. And while there is currently no indication of CFMoto building its own 850cc prototype, they have recently unveiled the capabilities of their brand new V4 SRRR, which is a 997cc V4 which they seem to be positioning as a serious superbike. China in general also seems ready to go racing. Kove has achieved success in rallies and Supersport 300. QJ Motor has a presence across road racing. The new and exciting ZX Moto seems to be a threat to the Supersport category in its very first year. And it's hard to imagine that CFMoto, one of the top Chinese companies in the West, is going to stay away for much longer at all. Personally, I think this could be a really big deal, especially if they're able to make a good bike, which is not a guarantee. KTM has had the world champions in Moto3 and Moto2 find success elsewhere in MotoGP because the KTM bike has just never been good. However, I am optimistic about CFMoto's chances. I think that Kalex is a really good starting point, and in general, I'm just an optimistic person, and I'd love to see another successful manufacturer. What do you think? Do you think CFMoto will succeed? How do you feel about their chances? Do you think that I'm overreacting? Is their talent ladder not actually that good? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you want to see more stuff from me, subscribe. If you're on mobile, use your hype points to hype this video, as it really helps in the algorithm. And most of all, have a fantastic day. One last special thank you to my channel members. MVP2112, Venturian CRO, Sean, Motosapien, B, Jack the World's Fastest Maori, Really Very Bored 1, Carl Ruppersberg, Drew Gibbs, Friday42, Troy the Boy, Money Penny, Luis Campos, ASX91, Ian Ellison, Derek Briganti, Silver Harbor Spotlight, JAGRM, Mary Cabs, and Timothy Colangelo. Thank you all for your continued support of the channel, and have a fantastic day.